Wrestling. I gotta say this, with 17 days out, I am interested to see Slammiversary. This show was full of TNA. And I know you're going, what? Dude, we don't use that anymore. It's not TNA Impact. I'm not talking about Impact Wrestling in that respect. It is full of total, non-stop action. It is full of it. Now, not 100%. Maybe about 80 to 85% of the show was full of action and non-stop of it. In some form or fashion, made you feel excited, hyped, or wonder what the hell's about to happen. And I wish to say this to anyone who's one of the people who watches my videos. Contact the Lex Man and tell him, look at this episode of Impact. You don't look at the product, but look at it. Take a look. It's not NXT. There is no lying about that. But the product has changed. Does it mean it's going to be great in the end of the next year? I still don't know. And I'm still saying, be cautious about feeling like the company is great now, because there's still a possibility something can go wrong next year. But as it stands now, they have been pumping out really good episodes. And I'm not taking nothing away from the writers of the new team that is running the place. I am really happy they've been running this company and the new direction. I don't agree with everything, but it's done. So let's go to the first thing. We get Rick Swann again. And we got Phoenix. And a damn good match. This was the best match of the night. It was. There wasn't that many matches, but this was the best match of the night. These two got good chemistry. And in the end, I was actually surprised to see that Phoenix won over Rick Swann. Yeah, Rick Swann won last week, but this week he lost. So I was going, wait a minute, why would they make Rick Swann lose? Unless something's going on. And guess what happens? Basically, Phoenix gets his ass handed to him by OVE. Now, Rick tried to help. Rich tried to help, but he couldn't. And then Pentagon Jr. comes out. Basically, what did he do? Like an inverted a pile driver? That would be right. And then it hit me. Wait a minute, why would he do that unless there's something wrong? And guess who it was? It was Sami Callihan dressed as Pentagon Jr. And he's about to rip the mask off of Phoenix. Rick tries to help. And in the end, what happens? He gets spit on. Can't do no more. And Pentagon comes out and stops the copycat. About to say the brother. The copycat. So that was alright. In the end, there's a very good segment. We don't normally see people dressed as somebody else all the time in wrestling. At least in the respect of doing it done well. That you can actually believe it was them. Because a lot of times people who dress as somebody else and goes out there and does it, don't do it that well. They just go out and act the normal way they do. Or they have to be very mysterious about it and go and do it. This time, when Sami Callihan came out, he acted a lot like Pentagon Jr. Not perfectly, but well enough you thought it was him. Now, the video pack from Sami Callihan was good. I actually enjoyed it. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. Saying, when it comes down to this match, I can't wait. And then we're going to have the 6-man tag next week. I'm going to take your mask. I'm going to take your brother's mask. Hell, I'm going to take Rick Swann's face off to make it a triple set. Okay. I'm glad to see that. That was well done. It was good. Now, next, the one thing I want to talk about is Austin Aries' video package, which I thought was really good. And there was a little jab at the WWE using Moose. That was a bit of a surprise. When he was doing his vid pack, and he said, Moose, you're maybe one of the top 5 up there, but you wanted this. This was my destiny. You wanted to be a wrestler because you dreamed of it. I found out that this was my destiny because I was going to go nowhere. I was about to end up probably in a ditch or something. And my friend called me into a wrestling area, a wrestling training school. We were standing there and instantly I said, I can do better than them. This was my destiny. And as great as you are, you're no match for me. And in the end, you're probably going to go to the XFL. It's not exactly like that. but it gave off that kind of feel. That was kind of a little jab at the WWE at how stupid the XFL is. And I'm not going against anybody who likes the XFL. I'm just going to respect it. If you're throwing $500 million in it, and this is the second time you tried it, and if you're going to try and use this on Fox, you better hope the concept works this time, because if it doesn't, that's $500 million gone. Even if you get $2 billion from Fox, it better work out. Now, the match that really wasn't that much, but it was wonderful to see. Rebel versus Catalina. Oh, two gorgeous women. And the person that needed to be exactly where he was exactly where he was. And that is Guido as her manager. That is where he belongs. As a manager. Very rarely as a wrestler. I'm sorry. I know people may like Guido. I do not. He didn't do great in, what was it, British Boot Camp 2, I believe he was on, or 1? I can't remember which British Boot Camp he was on. And he acted like a dick. And he still got over. And that means he's got some type of charisma. But for me personally, when you see him in the ring, and you see his characters, they suck. So have him as a manager, and once in a while wrestle, and there could be something. As it stands, there's nothing. But after Catalina and Rebel, who had a very slow match. It was kind of slow. Slower than the tag match for the women. It just felt a bit too slow for me personally. There was just like two older women that really couldn't move or bump very well. And that got me a little upset that I know Rebel's not that old. She's just slightly younger than me. And I'm sure that Catalina isn't that old either. She's probably younger than me because I'm almost 50. So, oh, actually, I'm nearing 50. But it just did not feel like they were really putting in a very strong effort. Now, after the match was over, who was it that came in? It was Joe Henry. And I believe I saw him on, what was it? CCWC or WWCW. I can't remember what the name of that British wrestling promotion was. The one that they actually tried to resurrect back in England. I forgot the name of it. I think it was CCWC, I believe. I can't remember the name of it. I'll probably try and see if I can find it and put it right below me. But I'll say this. I did see them together. And it wasn't a bad thing to see. And now it gives a different dynamic. But it doesn't make me feel comfortable. Because it kind of makes me worried that they're going to be doing a love triangle. And then eventually Guido's going to have to try and win Catalina's heart. And I don't want to see him in that position. I'd rather see him as a lackey than as a guy who's in the front and center. I don't hate him. I know in real life he's probably a great guy. You would love to hang out with the guy. But as a character, he sucks. I'm just being honest. Now, the Tommy Dreamer segment. I want to get it done. It was beautiful. It was done with the right lighting. He said it beautifully. He cursed his freaking ass off. And it makes you feel like this is personal. And as I said, and I found out from our commentators who were on my shoulder, there's going to be a match at Slammiversary. Yes! It is exactly what I was hoping for. Now, what did Tommy say? Tommy basically said this. I care for people. I'm not trying to screw you over. But everyone always thinks I know better than what I know. And they always try to question me. They always try to second guess me. And then when they have to come back and suck up, they have to eat crow. And I tell them, I don't want you to eat crow. I just want you to get better. And I tried to help you, Tommy. But now you think I'm trying to fuck your wife? Fuck you. Didn't say fuck you to him, but he pretty much said, you think I'm trying to screw your wife? Look at me. I'm an old guy. He's only a couple of years older than I am. I think Tommy Dreamer is like 48, 47. Actually, he's either my age or maybe a little older. Maybe 1 year older. I don't remember how old Tommy Dreamer is. I'm almost 47. This month, I'll be 47. So I think he's about my age or just slightly older than me by a year or two. So in the end, seeing this segment, this video pack was beautiful. I loved it. It made me feel hype for Slammiversary with that particular match. Hopefully don't screw it up, but we will know eventually. Now, KM with Fallah Bahh made up. And Fallah Bahh had a match with Killer Kross. The man feel no pain. Because when he came out and started messing with Fallah Bahh, smack to the chest. Smack to the chest. He didn't even freaking flinch. He did not sell. Gets hit once. Get hit twice. He gets thrown around by a near 400-pound guy who's shorter than him. And he lays his ass out. And eventually chokes him out. KM gets into the ring, tries to stop him. He gets his ass choked out. Then guess what? Petey Williams comes out, and he will be his first feud. Takes a steel chair, whacks him kind of lightly across the shoulder blades. He don't flinch, he don't sell again. Gets it again. He don't flinch, he don't sell again. Until he got the chair thrown at him, and that is when he sells it. Which I think was the wisest thing to do. Because a lot of times these guys, maybe they won't sell, maybe they do, or maybe they oversell it. In this case, if Killer Kross is supposed to be beyond a badass, to be something weird and magical in a sense, he's not going to sell. And they'll have to take something very substantial to whack him back, which that did happen. And in this case, a veteran of Impact Wrestling for over 10 years, and a Petey Williams as his first feud will be the wisest thing to do. And I'm actually commending them for doing it. Because that gives us something with Petey Williams, and Killer Kross will have something. If Petey Williams is finished, he can go through Fallah Bahh again, or he can actually go through KM, which would be the wisest thing. He goes 1, 2, 3. That would be the wisest thing to do. Now, the Dempsey Hit Squad and Gamma, or Ghana. I'm pronouncing the guy's name wrong. I'm pronouncing it as Gamma. I enjoyed the backstage between them, and when Gamma smacked the living taste out of both those guys' faces. Later in the night, they showed another vid pack where they're training, and they're trying to act like, we got this going, got this going on, we're gonna do this, everything's fine, and he's saying, stop acting like you already got it. Work! He's training them, and they're begging for water. He says, you want water? We're going outside. They got rain in their face. And one of them, I think it was Raju, and he pretty much is saying, Gamma, my leg hurts, Gamma. He says, which one? Is it left or right? No, it's the right. And he hits him in the left, which is actually a good thing, forcing him to work through it. Doing push-ups in the rain with his partner. And then after the training's over and they started cheering and fist bumping each other, he said, what are you doing? Smacks them against in the face. Smack them again, not against. Smack them again in the face and tell them to go run for 10K or something. This is a good vid pack. The vid packages for Impact Wrestling have been actually substantial. I've been enjoying them. Compared to the WWE where they do them in the back or in the arena, it's actually nice to see this outside. This is a lost art. Actually do it outside the freaking arena and you actually got some interest. So, I commend them. Let's see here. Let's get this done. Cage versus Kong. I did not like this match. Not because it was a bad match. It was actually a good one. It was not match of the night quality, but it was a good match. But why couldn't it have been done at the pay-per-view? This is what I do not agree with the writing team. Unless they got everything booked and there's no room for them, I can understand. If they wanted to fit it in, but they just didn't have enough time, fine. But if they did, why, oh, why did you do this on the show 17 days before was it a good match? Yes. Seeing that Brian Cage did a helo outside onto Congo Kong was very good. Congo Kong doing a Hurricane Rana was not too bad. You don't like to see a big guy like him do really strong moves of Lucha Libre often. You just don't want to because it becomes it becomes common. Because a lot of big guys do it. But if it's very rare they do it, then it's okay. So seeing Congo Kong once in a while pull off a Hurricane Rana was alright. Brian Cage is a kind of a difficult gauge because he is a very muscular guy that can act like a cruiserweight to a certain extent. He's kind of like Apollo Crews. He has incredible agility and some flexibility. Of course, Apollo's a much more flexible guy, and I actually want to see Apollo go into Impact Wrestling. I think his time in WWE is done. He's not doing anything. But seeing a big guy like him as a hybrid wrestler, and that is a... I know saying that is not great because of... what was this guy's name? Jesse Goddard's, and I forgot the guy's name. I'll probably remember and put him down there, but you know who I'm talking about. It's just... I don't like to see them too often. Really big guys doing a lot of aerial because it takes away the specialty of it. That it should be done at a special occasion, not a regular show. But, now I'm thinking about his name and I can't remember him for some reason. But anyway, Robbie E. Damn it, why couldn't I remember Robbie E earlier? But anyway, let's move on. What do we got here? We got Su Yung and one of her undead bridesmaids versus a Allie and a Madison Rayne. Look, I didn't really care that much about the Madison Rayne interview. She's still generic. But we don't have Allie anymore. Unless she changes back to Allie, Allie's dead. We have Cherry Bomb. This is what I said had to happen. Allie was cool at one point, sweet, tender, incredibly sweet out, take your teeth out. But we needed Cherry Bomb. We needed Allie to switch over to the Cherry Bomb type of character that she had when she first did one first match at Impact and then broke, what was her clavicle, not her clavicle or something. Her ankle or clavicle, I can't remember which one she broke. We needed that Cherry Bomb. And now, supposedly we have her. Was the match good? It was okay. In the end, Madison Rayne wins. Tessa Blanchard comes in before she wins, messes with her. Allie messes with her, which means maybe Tessa's going to have a situation with Allie because we don't want Madison Rayne to be messing too much with Tessa because she has to get ready for Su Yung. Madison wins. Allie, Madison, the undead bridesmaid and bride, along with the Tessa, all staring at each other. And I'm wondering, what the hell they're going to do? They're going to have like some type of tag match? They're going to bring in an extra person? I'm thinking a 6-woman tag with Tessa Blanchard, the undead bride, and the undead bridesmaid versus Kiera Hogan, Madison Rayne, and Allie. I think that eventually is going to happen. It's not something I want to see all the time. I don't want to see 4 women or 6 women. I'd rather see one-on-one more often. But in this situation, going with a storyline, it makes the most sense. Allie got screwed over by Su Yung. Well, Madison's been messed with by Tessa. Tessa can't stand Madison Rayne because she beat her twice. And Kiera Hogan, who seems to be gone, needs to come back because she got her ass kicked by Tessa Blanchard multiple times. And she needs to shine around some good-ass women. Now, let me see. If I'm forgetting anything, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. The last thing I'm talking about is the major thing. LAX versus LAX. Gang war. Or maybe gang war. LAX versus LAX. I think I might use that one. I was waiting for this. I was wondering how they're going to do this. Will Santana Ortiz be given the right to choose? Will they have the moments to talk? Which they did. This video segment with King, before anything happened, they both had a chance to speak. Santana Ortiz did speak, even if it was brief. And I didn't mind it. The segment for King was good. Now we know Kingston is not one of the best talkers. But in that vid pack, he did shine. Now, when they finally went to the ring and the LAX all met together and they had to choose, it kind of upset me. When they got into the ring, looking at each other, and Conan had simply just said, I know you set me up. I know you did it. But I understand that. But who was the one who covered your ass when you were growing up as a little baby? Who was the one who helped you when you were getting your ass kicked? Who went and gave you a bat and came out there and cracked heads with you? Who was the one who helped you get the first 10K? Actually, not 10K, 100K. I take that back. I'm the one that did that. So once Kingston realized he was ousted, he basically said, you know what? Fine, I did do it. You know why? Because it was time. You're done. And basically Ortiz and Santana felt, oh hell no. 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 Now, under these circumstances, I kind of wish they spoke. But they were just, there was no mic in their hands. And I kind of wish they did speak. But once they had to choose between Konnan and King, doing this, that made sense. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, please don't get angry. I'm just showing you what they did. But in the end, when that was done, and they look like they're ready to pound on King's ass, you get the beatdown of Ortiz, Santana, Konnan by homicide, and by the returning Hernandez. So essentially, all of the original members of LAX are back. And this was a good segment. LAX versus LAX. Now, I don't know if they've done this before in the last 10 years since LAX has been in existence. I know they went up against America's Most Wanted at one point. But I don't know if they've done this before. If they have, then it's been a while. If they've never done this before, well, it's good writing. And in the end, you now have one faction in LAX going up against another faction. And seeing that Ortiz and Santana had to choose, and they did choose to stick with Konnan, was understandable. Now, here's the thing. As much as I did enjoy this segment, as much as I felt Konnan was wisely used and effectively used, and King was used and effectively used, the beatdown was done well. The problem I have is this. Why didn't they save this for the pay-per-view? This would have made more sense to do this on a signature pay-per-view than a random Impact. Well, actually not a random Impact. 17 days before the pay-per-view itself. Unless they're setting up a match for the pay-per-view, which I kind of wish they wouldn't. Because I would rather see a match at Bound for Glory for LAX than it would be for Slammiversary. This is just me. You guys can tell me below. I would rather see this for Slammiversary's just being revealed. And then Bound for Glory, the actual match. That's what I would have wanted. But they decided to do it here. And maybe set up the match within the next 2 weeks to get it done. This was a good show. I would suggest you see the opening if you want a really hot match. If you want to know what was the best vid package, that was Tommy's. Tommy Dreamer's video package was beautiful. That is the way to go when you really want to hype some people up for pay-per-view. And the most best reveal is at the end. At the end. You can skip most of the other parts of the show, which I wouldn't totally skip everything. I mean, Killer Cross was pretty good. He needed to be dominant, and he was. Two big guys that could have been saved for the pay-per-view. I'm not saying that match was bad, Congo Kong and Brian Cage, but I would rather see it at the pay-per-view. But that's just me. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace!